rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will call this meeting of the Fairfield Town Council to order. The first order of business, public announcements. Details may be found at www.fairfieldme.com. The 2020 dog licensing tags are available at the town office. Current licenses expire on December 31st. The Lawrence Public Library will be hosting their annual Children's Visit with Santa on Thursday, December 19th at 6 p.m. Non-emergency town services will be closed on December 24th and 25th in observance of the Christmas holiday. Second order of business is public hearings.
Courtney. I actually have an announcement.
Okay.
So, should we stand up?
You can stand and speak if you'd like.
Okay. Aaron, on behalf of the Fairfield Town Council, we would like to present this certificate of appreciation.
Thank you.
Left, right?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you for your 5 years of service.
Thank you.
And sorry. Thank you for your dual years of service. I hope that you keep us updated on your adventures.
I will. Give me a hand. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Have your meeting back. I said you can have your meeting back.
No problem. Very, very kind of you. So we'll move on to the second order of business, public hearings. To hear from the public on an application for a special amusement permit submitted by the VFW Post 6924 located at 246 Main Street in Fairfield. I now declare this public hearing open. So any member of the public who wishes to address the council on this item? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. The third order of business, public comments. Members of the public may speak to the council on any item or reserve the right to speak on a specific item that is on the meeting agenda when the item is addressed. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Is there any member of the public who wishes to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to the fourth order of business. Reports from staff and committees, and we'll begin with the town manager report.
Okay, so it has been a month since we've met, so it is rather long, so bear with me. On the 14th of November, I attended the Sustainment Maine Coalition's meeting in Winslow, and then also that evening, there was a First Park General Assembly meeting. On the 18th, I actually had the privilege of being able to attend a dinner hosted by KRDA at Snow Pond Center for the Arts for the Korean Consul General while he was here touring the park and Central Maine. That was a great event. And then November 19th was the Somerset County Economic Community Development Committee's annual meeting. The DECD Commissioner Heather Johnson was there to speak about the state's new economic development plan. And for those of you, if you're not aware, Heather Johnson used to actually be the executive director of Somerset County Economic Development, so it was great to have her back for a while. On the 21st was the Central Maine Growth Council's annual meeting. That was down at the Hathaway Center. On December 5th was a KRDA executive board meeting. December 6th, myself and various members of the staff had the opportunity to attend training in Oakland. The town of Oakland hosted and paid for Equality Maine's LGBTQ and inclusion training. It was opened up to surrounding towns and all departments. That was a morning training, and then they also offered an afternoon session. So that was really good. I think they had probably close to 100 people in the area take that training, so it was a good piece. And then yesterday was a KVCOG meeting. And then a few project updates. The streetlight audit is underway. Most all of our new streetlights have been delivered. They're currently waiting for the audit to be completed, but we've taken delivery of most all of our lights, so that is still moving forward. And all documents for purchasing the lights have been signed, and that's still going according to plan. The stipulated order for Robert Dale has been signed by Judge Benson. The phased cleanup plan that we had put together and all of its components are in progress and in order, and progress is actually being made. So he's on target, and I saw some pictures of what he's been doing up there, and we're pleased with the progress that he's making. So things are going well with that. Activity on the closed landfill for the solar project should start within the next month with some tree cutting. They do need to file for a revision of their conditional use permit to do some changes in the access road and just the number of panels they're going to have. They're actually decreasing the number of panels, small number that was in a location next to the edge of the road, because the panels, new technology, they're actually producing more electricity, so they didn't need the same number. But not just a minor piece that they need to do. We're still continuing to work with the developer regarding a potential housing project on Mountain Ave. And I hope all of you were able to see the 2 articles that were in the Morning Sentinel regarding the PD's internship and the fire department's junior firefighter program. Those were both great coverage for us in the press. So, and that's it for me.
Are there any other committees or staff wish to report at this time?
The Economic Community Development Committee canceled due to the weather at the beginning of this month, and they had no current business, so they'll meet next month.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, so boards and people who are looking to register, looking to participate in any of our town boards and committees can still fill out applications, but we did have a deadline. We don't currently have any. We have enough applications for people who want to serve to fill all of our current openings, but if people are interested, they can always submit an application. Also, you should have received in your packets of information for this meeting everything for next month's organizational meeting, council goals, all those various different pieces that we'll be going over. Anybody who has any questions about those, for those of you that will be at the next meeting, don't hesitate to ask, and we'll do the best we can for you.
Any other reports? Seeing none, we will move on to the 5th order of business, the consent agenda. These items are considered routine or standard business and therefore will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests prior to consideration of this portion of the agenda, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered sequentially on the agenda. The items are item 19-114, order that the town council hereby waives reading of and accepts the minutes for meeting number 2019-20 held on November 13th, 2019. Item 19-115, order that the town council hereby approves the treasurer's warrant number 35 in the amount of $639,801.87. Item number 19-116, order that the town council hereby authorizes the town manager to sign on behalf of the town of Fairfield a 3-year contract with Waste Management Disposal Services of Maine Incorporated for municipal solid waste disposal services for the period April 1st, 2020 to March 31st, 2023. And item number 19-117, order that the town council hereby approves and signs certificates of commitment in the amount of $128,445 for the second quarter fiscal year sewer billing for the period of October 1st, 2019 to December 31st, 2019.
So moved.
Second?
There's a motion and a second on the consent agenda, and we will move directly to a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstaining? The consent agenda is agreed to. We will now move on to the 6th order of business to take action on the following items of business. Item number 19-118, order that the town council hereby approves an application for a special amusement permit submitted by VFW Post 6924, located at 246 Main Street in Fairfield.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? And I'll ask for the clerk to report on whether there have been any
No complaints.
no complaints. Wonderful. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstaining? That motion carries. Item 19-119, ordered the town council hereby considers and awards bids for the purchase of a Public Works 2020 4x4 one-ton dump body truck to be expended from the Sewer Equipment Reserve and Cemetery Perpetual Care accounts.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I had, is this the same vehicle we talked about last meeting?
I believe so. And
Yes, it is. It is? Because in our minutes, a quote from the chair tried to postpone it to next budget, so we have into the next budget.
Point of clarification on the minutes. So what the comment made was that this would go on the next agenda for action because it was needed, but the discussion item would be taken up during the next budget cycle by the next council.
That is my recollection of my statements as well, is that we will consider this because of the urgency and need for this item, but that the overall budgeting structure for vehicles is certainly something that should be considered in the next budgeting cycle. So I'll ask, do you have a recommendation from among these bids?
That we move forward? No, just due to ordering issues. If we wait, you're saying wait till budget?
You should have had, no, you should have had in your packet, it was given to you tonight. There's a memo.
Oh, the recommendation
Yeah,
on
it
the
was
truck, yes.
recommended from
it-
Height Chevy for $46,198, which is the low bid.
It is right here,
And that is the low bid. All right.
which is local.
Anybody want to,
I will make a motion to accept the low bid.
all right, so I will accept that as a motion in the nature of an amendment to the pending motion, that be amended to say that we accept the bid from Height Chevy of Skowhegan in the amount of $46,198. Is there a second to that?
Yes, there is.
There's a motion and a second, and this is now technically an amendment. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment? Any opposed? Any abstaining? That is amended, and now the main motion as a motion to accept the bid from Height Chevy of Skowhegan in the amount of $46,198 is before us. Is there any further discussion on that?
I just
Yes.
have one piece, just so to give you some additional information, because you are taking this from the perpetual care account and the sewer equipment reserve account. And just so you're aware, the balances on those are as follows. The perpetual care balance is $133,454.36. The sewer equipment reserve is $125,000. So you have sufficient funds in both accounts
More than
to
enough.
sufficiently cover this.
Okay. With that, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstaining? That motion carries. Thank you. The next item is item number 19-120, order that the town council hereby approves fire department purchase of 2 cardiac monitors for a total amount of $26,884.74, comprised of $4,115.73 to the city of Waterville for the FEMA grant match and $22,769.01 to Stryker to be expended from the fire department equipment capital reserve account.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Are these grants always going to happen for the fire department? Because I did see there's enough money in the capital reserve fund to fund this, but there's always a grant.
Yes, for the foreseeable future, these grants have been available for the last, I want to say, almost 20 years. It's a federal grant funded through the U.S. Fire Administration. So yes, they're,
So the way these work is that you apply for this FEMA grant. This was a group grant. It included
there's five different towns.
5 different towns. So we received one. So the reason for the 2 different prices is that it was the city of Waterville that actually applied and received the grant, which is why we need to pay them the $4,115.73 for the grant match. What happened with this is because they realized that additional ones needed to be purchased as well. So we have 2 vehicles that we respond. So having 2 of these is what we needed. This was after the grant piece was put together. So Stryker, the successful bidder for this grant, put together a package in which they were able to purchase these at a significantly lower cost than if we bought them outright, which is why there's the additional $22,769.01. So this 22 isn't covered by a grant at all. It's only one of them that's covered by the grant.
Gotcha.
Just the reserve fund is just there for extra, just in case extra equipment's always needed, or?
So this capital equipment reserve account balance, which is currently $126,778.53, this is the reserve account that we have to cover absolutely any major equipment at the fire department, including fire trucks. So when the Quint was purchased several years ago, 4 years ago, this account was basically drained in order to do that grant match. So they've started over again, replacing this. And this fund is filled by not only the town of Fairfield, but also by the appropriation that we receive from the town of Benton for this department.
So I just have one question, and it'll probably make my decision on this very, very easy. Are these pieces of equipment going to help your department save lives in Fairfield and Benton?
Yes, they're actually essential because we are now permitted to provide advanced EMT care. These are a essential piece of equipment for that level.
All right, thank you. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstaining? That motion carries. Item number 19-121, order that the town council hereby confirm the manager's appointment of Jacob Boudreau as police officer for the remainder of a 1-year term set to expire on the date of the 2020 town council annual organizational meeting, and in accordance with MRSA 25, section 2808, hereby authorizes state mandated reimbursement to the town of Skowhegan in the amount of $19,000 for Maine Criminal Justice Academy basic law enforcement program training expenses and purchase of equipment for the cost buyout of Officer Jacob Boudreau to be expended from the police capital reserve account.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. And we invite Chief Gould to come up.
Thank you. Unfortunately, as is common practice, Officer Boudreau couldn't make it here tonight, but I do have Officer Will Hoyt, who was supposed to be here at the last meeting. Officer Boudreau is a reserve for our department. He's been with us since 2016. He has decided to go from Skowhegan to Fairfield, thankfully. He's very well respected up there. He was trained in the academy, and he graduated 3 years ago yesterday. So he currently has an $18,000 buyout, plus we pay for the equipment that he takes with him so that we don't have to purchase new equipment. His bulletproof vest and some other equipment that he carries. Okay. That's what the amount is for the $19,000.
So he was full-time up there, but was he ever a reservist for us, or?
He's been a reserve for us since 2016, but he went to the academy through Skowhegan, and any department that sends an officer through the academy is entitled to receive that money back, and is prorated over a 5-year period starting at $30,000. And this December, anybody who graduates from this December's class, the first year would be $40,000, so it's gone up 33%.
So this is one of the positions that was advertised to fill, or?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. I have a question on the procedures. I know the police force has always been undermanned.
Yes, sir.
I know advertising, I see the advertisements on the website.
Yes.
And I know you interview them, then the town manager approves them, then he goes right to work and then approval comes to the town council.
Correct.
Is it a different procedure that, I've been in HR for many years. You hire the person, bring it to the town manager, then bring it to the council for approval, then bring it to work. That's just my question. because I feel like our hands not being tied. I know the police force been undermanned.
Yep.
He's working already, and he's been hired, and now he's just coming to the town council for approval. And I just think our hands are being tied on this.
Well, actually, I can just address from the chair that it has been a matter of procedure and I believe town policy that the hiring process goes first through the police department.
Yeah.
There is an appointment by the manager, and then those appointments are confirmed by the council. If we choose to reject an appointment, it has the effect of essentially ending the manager's appointment, and depending on the circumstances of the hiring, that can create greater or lesser headaches for us, but our hands are in no way tied by these appointments. The process is that it goes through the approval of essentially the town's executive departments and then comes to us for confirmation. I suppose future councils could change that process, but that is the process that's laid out.
Yeah. And just to add to that, so personnel practices are solely my responsibility as the town manager. And this is the process that's been in place for a very long time. Had the town council not met only once in November and once in December, and we not had the short staffness that we do have, there's a very good possibility that this would definitely have been in front of the council before there was a need for an individual to actually
I
go to
understand
work.
what the
Yep.
police force being.
But that's, yep.
I just want to bring that from my insider's perspective.
Yes, and
Anyway, so-
if the council ever decided to change that, we would put that into our hiring policy.
Is there any further discussion on this appointment? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstaining? Mr. Boudreau is appointed. And I would, just for a moment, if the council will allow, Chief Gould, would you like to introduce Officer Wilhoit?
Yeah, you can step up, Officer Wilhoit, if you'd like. This is Officer Wilhoit. He just came to us from Augusta. He has not depend on our staffing levels when we get to that point. Officer Wilhoit's from Clinton. He's married and has a child.
Yes. Pleasure to meet you all. Pleasure to meet you.
Congratulations on your appointment and confirmation at the previous meeting. Sorry we didn't get to meet then, but I wanted to make sure that ourselves and the public had a chance to get familiar with you. So thank you for coming here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. The ordinary business, item 19-122, or the town council hereby confirms the town manager's appointment of Stephen Donahue as police chaplain for the remainder of a one-year term set to expire on the date of the 2020 town council annual organizational meeting.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? And I will actually, I do have a couple of things I wanted to discuss on this. So I do want to point out that as far as I am aware, this is the first time, at least in its modern history, that the town of Fairfield has appointed somebody to serve as a chaplain in an official capacity to any part of our government. And I am not opposed to that appointment, but I do think it's worth noting that the ordinary course is for a very sharp distinction between religious and government affairs, and in general, I think that distinction serves us well. I did review the memo that Chief Gould prepared, and I want to thank him for his work in preparing that and assuaging some concern in that area. I think that as long as it's very clear to everybody involved that this chaplaincy is non-sectarian and is essentially to meet the private needs of the individuals who may seek it, and is not a public endorsement of religion generally or any religion in particular, I can certainly be comfortable in approving this appointment. I I think that the chief's memo certainly has expressed that that is the intention in this role. And if it's all right, I would actually like to address Pastor Donahue, if I could, and just ask you a little bit about your understanding of this, because you're going to be the person carrying this out. And I want to thank you for coming here tonight.
Thank you for having me. Yes, absolutely.
I really do appreciate your willingness to serve our community in this way. But Pastor Donahue, it's not our job to make any judgment or really make any statement on your deeply held religious beliefs, but no matter what those are, do you feel that you can adequately serve every member of our community in your role as a chaplain?
Absolutely. It's not my duty to force my religious beliefs on anybody. I'm there to help people. If they need me, they know who I am, and they can come to me spiritually with their problems or need counseling. That's up to them. I'll do anything that I need to do. As far as if I need to go get a drink of water for somebody, I'll do that. It doesn't make any difference. I'm there, and my presence there tells people I'm available.
Wonderful. I'm very glad to hear that. And, I think that answer certainly puts any concern that I and hopefully any members of the public may have had about doing this to rest, and I'm glad to support your nomination.
I just have a question. We're talking counseling. I know you're a pastor and things like that. What kind of counseling are you going to provide to the residents and to the police force?
Well, I've had 2 years of counseling, and we call it authentic counseling, which is a Greek word that has never been translated into English, but it's more of a helping people out through the Bible if they desire that. And I can counsel people on different things and just helping them get by. I know that there's two ends of this thing. I can counsel them which way they want to go. If you want to know how to be counseled through the Bible, which I've been taught, and also I've been taught to counsel people if they don't want to go in that avenue, to help them by, what can we do? Let me know what your needs are. How can I help you? Basically. Actually, I'm a chaplain up to Reddington Hospital at this point here, and I've been tutored to go into the hospital, into the rooms, and ask them if there's anything I can do for them. If they want to sit down and just talk to me about what's going on, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of a counseling thing here, when you kind of soothe them. If they want to talk to me about something religious, I can talk to them about that too. But it's not for me to force anything onto anybody. It's their choice. I'm there to help them. Bottom line.
Are you finished, Peter?
Yeah, also.
I want to take the opportunity to thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming in, and for being counselor for the police department and for the community of Fairfield. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
And I think that it's going to be a great asset to the town of Fairfield. And I thank you very much for taking on such a large job, because,
Thank
it's
you.
not going to be an easy job, but I think that you're probably going to be up to the task, otherwise you wouldn't be doing that.
The way I figure it is that I went to Lawrence. I grew up in the town of Fairfield. I think
I went to Lawrence, too.
I owe him a little bit, I think, for putting
But
up
I
for
want
me
to
for all
thank you
those
very
years.
much for
Thank you.
coming and doing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I did have a question for you, Chief Gould, just
Yes,
to
sir.
clarify from your memo, since I'm not sure that the general public will have read that. It is the case that all the counseling services and chaplaincy services that are being offered at the request of police officers, and that no one will be required to engage with these services, correct?
Absolutely. The policy is written that an officer can request it, we can offer it, but we cannot enforce it. We can't order anybody to go there. We can just say, this is here for you. It's very similar to the mental health and crisis trainings that we have. We've done very, very well on that, but I think we lack a little bit in religious. Some of the officers have religious beliefs, and they'll be able to approach him on their own and have conversations on their own outside of the police department and outside of our jurisdiction, my jurisdiction, I should say. And that's completely confidential.
Good.
But there is no pressure for anybody to
It
utilize the
says in the memo,
services.
he's gonna have an office when he's needed at the police department, so he won't be there every single day.
Pardon me?
He won't be there every single day.
No, sir. He's strictly volunteer. He will have access into the station once he passes his background, which no, he already has passed his background, excuse me. So he'll have access to the station, just like the regular officers do. And if they want to meet with him, they can call him on the phone. And we're going to try and provide some space here in this building that's outside of the police department, so there's privacy involved.
Good.
Or they can go to his location or. Yeah.
Probably it would be over here, yes. Yeah, I think we should maintain that within the town and not
Not privately, right?
utilize a facility or a religious facility in town.
I would agree that as this service is being offered through what will be an official commission by the town of chaplaincy, it would be most appropriate for the chaplain to meet with people who want to in a, I don't want to say professional versus non-professional, but professional versus explicitly religious setting. I mean, I think that
Correct.
That certainly is appropriately sensitive to the needs of the individuals who'll be meeting with them. And I just want to make sure we have it sort of on the record for the public. There's not going to be, publicly sponsored prayers or services or anything through the chaplaincy, correct?
Absolutely not. The public probably won't even know that he exists. He's here for our services. He's here if a member of the public, and we're at a serious crime, and they are seeking help in with their religious beliefs. We have that contact for them. We can offer it. We already have reached out to him a couple of times now with some recent incidents that took place, and they had asked us to. They said, "Do you know anybody?" And we reached out to him at that time. So it will be a help for both the public that wants it and for the officers that want it. But there'll be no pressure and no public acknowledgement, I guess you would say.
Well, I am certainly satisfied that this has been well thought through. And Pastor Donahue, I do want to say, I did do a little bit of research about you, and you have a glowing reputation with every source that I saw. And I'm very pleased that you're being considered for this position.
Thank you very much.
Is there any other discussion on this point? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstaining? All right, so that motion carries. Congratulations. We'll move on to item 19-123. Order that the town council hereby authorize the town clerk to issue a blanket letter of approval to the Fairfield VFW Memorial Post 6924, located at 246 Main Street, to operate bingo, beano, games of chance, and cribbage for the period January 1st, 2019 to December 31st, 2019. I'm just gonna add, is that a
20.
Okay, so
Sorry.
we'll move that as January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? And seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstaining? That motion carries. Item number 19-124. Order that the town council hereby authorizes the town clerk to issue a blanket letter of approval to the Grover Hinckley American Legion Post 14, located at 86 Main Street, to operate bingo, beano, games of chance, and cribbage for the period January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. And is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstaining? That motion carries. Item number 19-125, order that the town council signs quitclaim deed for devisee of Corin Goodnow for property located at 53 Burn Street, map 23, lot 209-00A.
So move.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstaining? That motion carries. Item number 19-126, order that the town council signs quitclaim deed for Lawrence W. McDonald for property located at 12 Ohio Hill Road, map 005, lot 081, 2022-00A.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That motion carries. We'll move on to the seventh order of business, council workshop and other business. The first item is to discuss investment bids.
So, last meeting, we let you know who the 5 firms that we had received bids from. They have been thoroughly reviewed. The town treasurer, tax collector, Sue Inman, and I picked 2 firms out of the 5 that we received that caught our attention. One was First National of Bangor, and the other one was First National and Bangor Savings Bank. We met with them, we interviewed, we had quite a few questions that we asked. One of our biggest concerns, as we've all said throughout the course of the year, is the proper management of the Crawford Fund in a way in which we can try to hopefully ensure that the school can depend on a certain level of income in any given year, so to help send those kids to band camp. So that was one of our biggest parts of our conversation during those interviews. Both of them had the solutions or plausible solutions and conversations about how that would work. However, during the research, I did find, and I had included it in my memo, website called bankrate.com, which was really good at providing the side-by-side comparison of the 2 banks. And the rate of return on investment for First National is much higher than the rate of return for Bangor Savings Bank during the years in which it was covered. And we were recommending First National also because we liked their interview, we liked their proposal. They just seemed like to have a really good fit with what it is that we were looking for. Also, we did find it interesting that they were evidently second last year. 5 years ago when we went with firms, and that the gentleman that worked for the current firm we have now works for them. And that was there and conducted their interview. So it was kind of one of those pieces. But
Also, I'm pretty sure on the radio today, I heard that Bangor Savings just merged with another bank.
Oh, seriously? I did not hear that
Yeah.
today, and they made no mention of that whatsoever while they were here. So, anyway, this was back on here as a workshop item. You can either you could choose to actually make a motion tonight for us to award a contract with the folks that we've put forward here for you, or you can hold this over and we can bring it back to in January when the next council sits and meets. Or we can have them come in, the council can interview them, whatever you choose.
I personally think it should probably come back in January when our new councilors come on board. I don't think it's really fair to be doing that so early in the game, and I think they should be interviewed by the new town councilors that are coming in. That's my recommendation anyways.
I mean, I would certainly be open to considering this tonight, but I would point out that both of the newly elected town councilors were people who were also involved in the previous process for selecting a bank, and it would actually sort of expand the bench for the council in terms of people who have prior experience dealing with this issue. Right now, it's just Councilor Pashadi and I, and there would be at least 3 people who have seen that issue before coming January. So I think it probably makes sense to put a little bit more weight to institutional knowledge on that.
I agree on that too.
Yeah, and we didn't, during these interviews, we had let them know that this was going to be discussed at tonight's meeting, but had made no indication, promises, what have you, or to provide an expectation for either one of the firms to know whether or not a decision would be made tonight or next month. And we had explained to both of the firms about the transition that was currently going on with the town council, and had kind of suspected that this may possibly be the route that you would go
Well,
this evening.
plus the fact of what I had heard today, if that's,
Yeah, it's a
true,
little interesting
then
piece, too.
that's something we need
Yeah.
to look at. Who was the bank?
Exactly.
Correct.
So
Yep. All right.
is that something we need to vote on, or are we just going to just move it?
No, just move it to the next.
Okay.
So we'll
Next
just move it
council
to the
meeting.
next council meeting.
Okay, good.
So the next item is to discuss town council administrative policy fee schedule related to marijuana.
And this is simply because of a curveball that the new state laws put into place with with retail marijuana. They did create a new category for a license, which is nursery cultivation facility. It allows cultivation by a licensee of no more than 1,000 square feet of plant canopy, subject to the requirements of Title 28B and its subsections. Our land use ordinance already allows for retail marijuana, and the way that the ordinance was drafted and put together when it was approved was to allow for changes that would happen throughout the course of this law evolving. However, the fee structure was specifically set by the town council, so this is just simply adding this additional piece that the law put in that allows for a licensing fee of $2,000. And it's because it simply was put, this canopy size is right between what a Tier 1 facility and a Tier 2 facility is. Tier 1's licensing fee is at $1,500, and I think the Tier 2 is at $2,500. So we just picked a number, recommended a number that's smack dab in the middle, so that was it.
I think this should be tabled to the next council for discussion.
I agree.
I'll bring to light December 4th. I attended the Somerset County workshop on adult marijuana and got some good information about it, what we can and can't do. So I think we need to address this, the schedule, and maybe look at our ordinance again to adjust it, because we can expand the distance. Because that's just, I asked a lot of questions, and that what's in the ordinance right now as state. I talked to lawyers saying we can't subtract what we can add. And
I agree.
asked more questions about the federal side of the buildings and things like that. So I think we need to address this at the next council and in detail.
Yeah, I agree.
So that will be on the next council agenda. Okay. Assuming that the next council wants it on their agenda.
Well, these are all going to go on, of course, as workshop items, because we wouldn't put anything on as an action item, because the council that'll be sitting here
Right.
wouldn't have discussed any of them.
That's right.
So they'll just go back as workshop items.
Yeah.
So that leads us to other council business. Start with Mr. Lawrence.
I just want to thank the outgoing two councilors we have, Councilor Rowden and Beverly, for their service. I've been here it's been a year already, and they helped me a lot to understand the policy and procedures of what the council is about, and they'll be missed. And also, too, I'd like to wish all the residents of Fairfield a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I'll bring some other light stuff to the next council meeting next year. So, and I can't wait to meet the two new councilors come on board. That's it.
Sounds good. Thank you. Councilor Bishadi?
Yeah, I would like to actually mimic Councilor Lawrence and thank both of you for your services and what you've done and the way that we've been able to control and do everything in a unison and, you know, without the normal bang stuff. We've worked together well and got things accomplished and accomplished things well, and I think that's a big plus on that type of thing. And I'd also like to wish all of our residents a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year, and move through it. And if we, if we have the global warming luck, why, it'll be summer in another month. So
Hope so.
Okay, that's all I've got.
Thank you. Councilman Chandler?
Even though I already thanked you guys earlier, I just wanted to say that throughout my time as a counselor, you guys have been very helpful with making sure that I always was on the same page as everyone else, even in the beginning. What did I come in the middle of think we were renegotiating the sewer rates or something. And it was just, here's this book. But it wasn't as scary as it had to be, and you guys really helped out, so thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I want to take the opportunity to thank each one of you individually. Michelle, you've been quite the confidant and friend, and I appreciate that greatly. Peter, when you first came on, I wasn't sure you were going to be doing good, but you know what? You've grown a lot, and I've become fond of you, and I thank you for your service, and you will be missed. And Courtney, I know I took you under my wing and taught you a few things, and you've grown immensely, and I'm very proud of you, and I love you. Aaron, I'm going to miss you,
Miss you as well.
and I wish you luck in your new endeavors,
Thank you.
as I have my own endeavors that be watching for me, because, you know, I'm going to be doing some bigger things in the near future. And John, you've been interesting, to say the least, and a friend and a confidant, and I appreciate your input as well. And I want to congratulate the two that are coming in, Stephanie and Michael, which I know both of you from previously being here. And I know that with me leaving and Aaron leaving, we're both leaving the council in very capable hands. And I want to thank you for your previous service and for the service you're going to be providing to Fairfield. And thank you. And I want to wish everybody in Fairfield a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I will miss everybody. Thank you.
This is my last council meeting after 2 full terms on this council, and it's certainly been an interesting journey. I think when I got here, it was safe to say we were still dealing with crisis budgeting from the recession, and sort of seemed like lurching from revenue shortfall to tax protest on a year-to-year basis. And I'm glad to say that the work of all of my fellow councilors and prior fellow councilors, that we're not in that position anymore. And I think that that's just really great. We've gone from being a place that people talked about as, at best, a bedroom community for Waterville, to a place that is a leader in the solar industry and a leader in trying to seek investment for the region. And I really think that that's a great legacy to leave behind here. And obviously it's one that I share with many other people who worked very hard on those issues, and I want to thank all of them. I think I've really seen the town of Fairfield become a lot more than it was when I got involved and thought, things need to change. And I really want to thank everybody who made that possible. I'm going to miss this work, and I'm going to miss all of you. And you will certainly hear from me, because I will continue to be a tax-paying property owner here for years to come.
Me too.
I am sure that I will have thoughts about what's going on, and I won't be terribly shy in sharing them. But I'm also really glad that with the degree of confidence I feel in the incoming council, and being able to hand off this seat and this gavel, and knowing that things are largely going to continue in the right direction, I think. So the future is bright, and I really hope that we're all in it together. Thank you all.
Okay.
With that, if there is no other council business, the next regular meeting of the Fairfield Town Council will be held on Wednesday, January 8th, 2020, to be held in council chambers at 6:30 p.m. At this time, the council will recess and sign all documents that require the signature of council members.
So move for
Second.
There's a motion and a second. If there is no objection, we are in recess.